Greetings and salutations. My name is Tish, and welcome to the Artist Haven, where home plus art equals heart. In today's live video broadcast, we're going to switch things up. I have my friend Clara from Clara Lauren's Art here with me today. Hang on, I got to bring you up. Where'd my mouse go? There it is. Okay. There we go. Hello, Clara.
Woo!
Good morning. Good morning.
Good
So
morning.
Clara and I are going to start a program of sorts. She's going to teach me resin, and I'm going to teach her acrylic pouring. And
I teach her, she teaches me.
Exactly. And we figured we would go live with each other and share our learning and laughter with all of you. So, first off, thank you, Clara, for joining me bright-eyed and bushy-tailed this morning. I appreciate that.
I'm sorry. You mentioned bushy tail, but
well,
I forgot that part.
Coffee up. Let's get this rolling, right? Right.
Yeah.
Let's say hello to the people in chat. 1 second. I said coffee up, and I needed to have some coffee. So there we go. Let's say hello to Mike from Creator Spotlight. He's here this morning. Good morning. Doris is here. Melissa is here. And I think it's
Howdy, everyone.
Is here. And Miss Retired is here. Good morning. Thank you all for joining us. If you're enjoying this vibe and want to join a creative tribe, hit that subscribe. If you already haven't, give us a thumbs up and share this video out, because we want to help you guys learn, because I am a befuddled mess when it comes to resin. I had my friend Elisa try and teach me. Doris has tried to teach me. I've watched ATD, Erica and Jeff. I've watched a bajillion of their videos, watched their lives, and I still am just, I figure if I can do what's it called? Royal icing and cake baking, I can do resin. It's as finicky as resin is. So it's like, okay, whatever. Here we go.
You can do it. I have faith in you. You can do it.
If I can do resin, you can do acrylic pouring. So there we go.
You're going to turn this on me quick.
So next week we'll be doing acrylic pouring, and Clara will be in the hot seat. All right.
All right. Bring it on.
Okay. So when we're mixing resin, what is our first step?
First things first is make sure you have some kind of cup that can give you some nice, reliable measurements. Let's see. These are the cups that I use. It has a nice flat bottom to it. Has really good indication as far as the line, so it's really easy to measure. And they've also given me consistent results as far as the amount of liquid. Resin is very particular as far as, like, if you're off by a little bit, it throws off the chemistry. And I've seen a lot of people have really good luck with the cup that you have, Tish. Okay. So I think we're good.
This is dollar store. Dollar store, dollar.
If it works, it works. That's all that's important.
Those cups, the ones that you have, I have to grab onto it, and my hands don't like to grab onto something like that. I like it because I have a little handle that I can hang on to.
That's true. That's true.
That's the only reason I get it, because these are about the same price as those that you get there, unless you buy them in bulk, and they're probably a little bit cheaper. But but these are easy to take. You go to the dollar store, and there they are.
And they peel out real nice and easy too. So and you can reuse them over and over again.
Right. Right.
So always check your resin. I believe that Tish and I are using the same type today. We're both using Stone Coat. Either the Art Coat or the countertop version is a 1-to-1. So that means, like, if you need 4 ounces, you mix 2 of part A and 2 of part B.
Okay.
So, and ironically, a trick, or actually it comes all the way down to Mike over at Stone Coat. You put it in part B first, and it's a thinner resin, so it's easier to scrape your sides and get all the resin incorporated when you do that. If it's part A, it's super thick, and a lot of times you end up with a sticky film on the inside of your cup when you're done.
Okay, so we're going to do part B, which is the black lid on my set. I
Yes.
also labeled this part A, so that way if I forget that this is, B is black, but
Mhm.
I forget that I labeled the tops because not all the time does it come with a white top and a black top. So this
True.
way,
And
if you
other
get
brands can come out differently as well. Yeah.
okay.
So
Oh,
a trick that I use. Oh, so
yes,
go
yes,
ahead. Oh, a trick
I-
that I use when I'm doing my resin is
yes.
when I'm done pouring this one particular one, I put it at a good arm's length away from me. So if like a munchkin comes in, you get a phone call and you're like, oh crap, which one did I pour already? You already
Right,
know because
right,
the other one's far away.
yeah. And see, I don't take the lid off until I pour it, and then once I'm done pouring it, I put the lid on there, and then I put it far away. Because
Yep.
okay, first off, I'm a klutz, and I spill things.
Same.
So I make sure the lid gets put on there. So that way, you always have it. You have it there. But I wanted to just take a quick second, say hello to my friend Andy from across the pond. Hello, Andy. Good to see
Hello.
you. I missed you. So, okay. So, how much are we mixing up today, honey?
We could do anywhere from 4 to 6 ounces. So it just
Okay.
depends on how many coasters you want to do. I haven't done coasters in a while, so it's approximately about an ounce a coaster, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I have a 4 mark and a 6 mark. I don't have a 2 mark. So, what should I do? Should I just do 8 ounces? I've got molds here, so if I have extra,
You're good to go on that part.
yeah.
I say always use something that you've got a nice clean line if you're at all iffy about your resin and you don't feel confident doing the halfway points. So
Okay.
I would say mix up 8 ounces. So do 4 of one and 4 of the other one. You got your 8.
Okay. Let's do that then.
And then I get this. I'm going to send you a little care package of some goodies and such.
Okay.
So I've got this little sand timer kind of thing, and you can get them with different like minutes. I mean, you can get like a 20-minute timer, a 1-minute timer, but it comes in handy because you just flip that sucker over and you're just mixing your resin until it runs out.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about setting up your timer and getting your like I use my timer on my phone.
Yeah, that's what I usually use, but I'll just watch the minutes on the computer this time since we're live.
There you go.
So I'm pouring in part A. Now I heard told that if you have a little bit more part A than part B, it's okay. But if you have, I mean, just like that little fraction of a bit more, but it's not good to have extra hardener, and that's when you're going to run into issues.
I always, even if I accidentally overpour a little bit, I'll always compensate with a little bit more with the other one. And I try to get as close as I can to them being equal. So I haven't really messed with, risking it. I'll put it that way. Because, it's like you do a nice big project and I don't want it to be a slush thing or sticky thing.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I had heard that, and I didn't know if you had that. Okay, so we're gonna put those two.
Yeah, I haven't had any experience with that.
Okay. So I'm gonna be stirring. So
I will flip my thing over for you. Yes.
Isn't that a Days of Our Lives thing? Like grains through an hourglass. These are the days of our lives.
That was my husband's mama's favorite soap opera she would watch, and she'd say, "I'm watching my stories."
Yes. My grandma got me into it, and then my dad started watching it with me. He would come home from lunch from work, and we'd sit and watch Days of Our Lives. But this was back when I was a kid, when Bo and Luke, or Bo and Hope, and Patch and Kayla, and Victor Kiriakis, and all that.
Oh, when that was big time? Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I got hooked into it for a couple of years, and then I realized how much of a pull it was having. I was like, I got to stop this.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, then I hit, this is, when I was like middle school age and into high school. And then once I got done with high school, I didn't have time, to watch all of that. And so.
Yeah, I was starting to work out my hours at work, and so that I could come home and watch it during lunch break and such. I was like, this is a problem.
Okay, so what's the next step after we stir and stir and stir?
Next step, we're going to pour the resin into individual little cups to add color to it. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do your cups. If you're not sure how much resin you're going to go and use for each color, then I would go ahead and pour it into the cups in case you pour out too much or something like that. And then I add the color second. Some people like to do the coloring first, especially with the powders, because they can be airborne. So it's a matter of I think your comfort level. I always put in my powders very carefully and then stir them very carefully. So I'll show you one way, and then maybe another time we'll do it another way. How about that?
Okay.
We'll just cover all of it. So I asked Tish to pick out a titanium white.
Yep, that's
and then an interference or a chameleon color. So we're going to get a little bit of light shift going on. And then 2 powder colors. So, and these are the 2 I picked out.
2 powder colors?
Or just 2 other colors. It doesn't matter if it's powder or not.
Wait a minute here.
Maybe I didn't say powder colors. I'm sorry.
No, you didn't. You just said 2 colors. So it's okay. I can do it too. I can do powders too if we want to do that. But I was going to stick with the pastes.
Okay, so that's paste that's in your little sample packet.
Yep, those are little pastes. I do have micas and stuff like that too.
No, the paste will work just fine. So
okay. All right. So I'm going to get 4 of these cups.
Yep, and you're good on time as far as your mixing time, by the way.
Okay.
Ding ding ding. So I've been using these little paper cups. I find they're just super easy on the cleanup and mix up kind of thing, or the cleanup afterwards, especially with doing a lot of projects and stuff. I'll stack them up afterwards and then toss them. But my dirty pours, I'll have a tendency to use the plastic cups and peel that out really easy.
Well, I used to use like these little Dixie cups. Whoa, that was almost a mess. Like these little cups here. But I found that I would poke holes in the bottom of them when I was stirring.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's a problem.
I went to plastic cups because that way I'm not having
too rough on it and not have to worry about it. Oh, also, if you do end up getting paper cups, make sure that they're not wax lined, because when you're mixing it up, you'll end up getting little bits of wax in your cup. So you want
the true like Dixie paper cups.
Paper cup, yeah, paper, nothing else.
Okay.
So I'm going to pour I'm doing about a half a cup each on, meaning half of my little paper cup as far as depth wise of resin.
I did a little bit more than half.
That's fine. And if you end up with a little bit of clear afterwards, it's not a problem.
Yeah, I've got a little bit left in here. It's a little bit more than half in most of them. I tried to get them as close as I could. Okay, so we're going to start with a titanium white. I just opened this, so I just took the plastic off of it.
It's fresh.
It's fresh. It's beautiful. So how much? I'd say there's about, these cups I think are they're shot glass, so they're like 1.5 ounces, and I've got it probably at 1 ounce mark-ish.
Okay. So always with your paste, make sure you mix it up really good.
Okay.
And if it is like a rock, and sometimes paste will do that, you can heat it up or put it in a warm bath, and then again mix it up thoroughly. Some people will go and heat it up with like a heat gun. I'm always nervous about that. But
Elisa does that. So
does she?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. How can you see me, Tish? So in these cups, I usually scoop it up about yay much.
Okay.
On my little popsicle stick. Does that help?
Yep. About 1/8 of a teaspoon, maybe.
Sure.
That sounds good. Well, because see, this is how I learn stuff. Okay, I already know how to bake, and I already know how to make soap, and I already know how to make candles, and I already know how to do all these other things. So I
Mhm.
try and relate things that I'm learning
To
into other
baking.
things that I already know. So one, I remember, and two, I feel more comfortable.
Ah, yeah, that works.
Miss Retired asked a question here. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yes.
She says, "Are you using a mask or respirator while mixing the resin? I've never done resin."
Uh,
Um,
I
are you
use. Oh, go
using?
ahead.
What are you using, honey?
Since I'm using the Art Coat by Stone Coat, it's got no UV VOC. Sorry, no UV, no VOCs. So it is safe to use without a respirator. However, I have to always put in this. However, I have huge vaulted ceilings in my studio, and so there's a lot of space as far as ventilation area. If you are at
Right,
all sensitive to any
right,
kind of reaction and all that, I would say always take precautions no matter what the package says, because your skin's probably more likely to react and such.
right.
Your inexpensive resins, I would always recommend doing a
A respirator.
respirator of some sort.
Okay. So I'm just gonna put this up to the side. I am not using a respirator because as Clara said, we're using the Art Coat, which has no VOCs, but also I'm in a very big room. I have a fan running, windows open, well, cracked open. I think I
Well, I
opened
don't
them.
have my fan running because I'm about to do powders and they will go everywhere.
It's a ceiling fan that's on low.
Yeah.
We always have it on. Okay, so what am I looking for with the white? Am I looking for an opaque color?
Yeah. Now
Okay,
this titanium white will go opaque really, really well. And a
okay,
good way to check is when it's on your popsicle stick, whether or not you can see the wood going through it. And
okay,
if that is what you want, stop.
okay.
If you wanted it a little bit more on the transparent side, I would say add a little bit and then build up
Right,
to it because you can't take it away once you're there.
right,
Okay. So the rule of thumb is to go 10% of your color for your resin. Do not go over that. There
right,
are some areas that you can kind of, push that a little bit on. Sometimes it's powders because I
right,
think they don't really thoroughly mix and change the resin. They kind of get incorporated into it, but not, like paste will definitely mix into it. So this is about how much powder I'm doing. Let me see if I can loosen this up. It's going to fall a little bit. Hang on.
Ugh, you're a brave
Sorry.
soul.
That's about how much I've got on my stick.
Okay, so that's closer probably to like a teaspoon.
Yeah, between an eighth and a teaspoon, I would say between, that range.
All right,
Gold is one of those that I definitely put in an eighth or a teaspoon amount.
okay.
Teaspoon. No, an eighth to a quarter of a teaspoon. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
not teaspoon. That would be way too much.
um.
So stir slowly with any of your powders
Okay.
until they get yes, I'm going to say the M word, all moist.
Ew.
Sorry, but there's no other description on that. You want your particles submerged,
Dispersed.
and
They
then
get
you can go aggressive with it to make sure you're breaking up all the particles and each little one is swimming in the resin.
just keep swimming.
Yep.
See, I have it when I put powders in. I have a tendency to just kind of stab the top to push it down.
Mm-hmm. You
Um,
can even drizzle a little bit of resin on top to kind of help too if you want.
because royal icing is the same way. You can use powdered colorants in it, but it doesn't like taking on color. That's powder. So it's like them and the um, powdered sugar that's already in there. They don't like to get along. They're not very happy with each other. So.
Yeah.
But
Glitter. Oh,
if
sorry.
you
Go ahead.
if you use liquid color in royal icing, it makes it too thin. So powdered is always the best. But
Oh, interesting.
yeah. Gel colors, if you don't want to mix with powders, is good, but you got to remember that it's going to mess with your consistency. So anyway, you were going to say, honey?
Glitters is one of the exceptions to the rule. You can add a ton of glitter in there to the point where it's like, is it actually going to mix up? Because it never really changes the chemistry of the resin. It's always
Right.
floating in the resin. It's like
Okay.
adding sprinkles to the icing. It doesn't really change the chemistry. They just are
Right.
an individual.
Right.
There you go. There's your baking analogy, adding sprinkles to it. Hey, I did pretty good. Let's see. What did I do with it? It's right in front of me.
Okay, that's rock hard. Let's try a different one. These are probably all going to be hard because I haven't used them. Oh no, this one's nice and soft. Okay, that's how I'm deciding what colors I'm going to be using.
I have done that before. It's like
they're still soft.
go to do a video, open up, and I was like, nope. Next. So interference colors and chameleon colors, the way I describe them is they play with light.
Okay.
It looks like interference is like a one color shift. In other words, you could look at it from one direction, not see the color. You can look at it from another direction and then see the color. Whereas a chameleon will have a 2 or 3 color shift, depending on it. 3 are not very common. And that one, you could view it from one angle, it looks blue. You view it from the other, it looks purple.
Okay. Yeah, I have some of those color shift colors from ATD for America. They are very expensive, those chameleon colors. Holy Hannah.
Her Too-Faced ones are pretty good as far as pricing. So,
well, but see, you got to remember, I'm used to acrylic pricing. You know,
sure.
Like, you know, I can buy a bottle of Color Shift for next to nothing, and then I go to look at them like, holy hell. Okay, so
But a little goes a long way.
Let's get this mixed in.
All right.
So with the colors, do we want it opaque or do we want it more transparent?
This is how my blue looks. If that
Okay,
answers your question. So I'm going for more of an opaque color myself.
Okay. Yeah, mine's more opaque. This teal, this kind of tealy green.
Mm-hmm.
It's more on the opaque side.
Some of them come off instantly opaque. Depends on the properties in there. The powders, you can go translucent by adding just a little bit. Well, I guess you could kind of with some of the paste, not all of them.
Okay. Well, I suppose if you put just a drop in, you know, just like dip your stick.
Yeah, you probably could by pushing it and stuff. I always like to have a variety of different types of colors. In other words, I might have an opaque one, I may have a transparent one, I might have a pearly one, or maybe one with sparkles. Right. I find that looks really, really interesting. Like if you had your palette being all whites and you vary it, it looks really cool. It's kind of like, you know, seeing somebody decorating a room and they have a white room. It's not all white cotton, you know, plain. They, you know, have fuzzy cotton. Might have some feathers, may have something really woven in there, but it brings out the textures.
It's bringing out the textures.
Yeah, the colors and such. Yeah.
The light.
Makes it more interesting.
Right.
How you doing?
Well, this purple is a little bit hard and a little bit soft. So I'm seeing if I can manipulate it into being soft. And I think I can. I think I can.
I think I can. I think I can.
I sound like a little engine that could. So if it's, okay, so I don't know if you can see this hand. If it's kind of pasty still, but it's thicker than the other ones, do I want to hit this with the heat gun just to soften it up a bit, or do you think this will be okay?
I think that might be okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Just take your time as far as mixing it up.
Okay.
And I would always push the stick to the side. You know, it's kind of like mixing up sometimes tomato paste and stuff. Sometimes you got to break it against the side of the pan or something like that. It's kind of like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just use cooking analogies with you. That works.
Well, that's what I'm good at. So
Are you only like really good at baking, or are you good at the savory too?
I'm good at the savory too. I
You're
mean, I say I'm good because my basis of comparison is my mother who can burn water. Am I a master chef? No. I can tourne a carrot though. I can because I did go to culinary school for
Oh, did you
baking.
really?
Yeah, I went for baking and patisserie. But part of the program was you had to take a culinary, like a savory culinary class, like knife skills and how to do the basic sauces. I can make a mayonnaise from scratch.
Nice.
So yeah, but I'm gonna put a blob in there and hopefully it'll all work out. But I had to learn how to cook because my mother couldn't, and I didn't want to starve. So Julia Child was my teacher. So, all right, we're gonna use purple and this kind of tealy color and the copper. I think this will be pretty. Okay, smushing up against the side. Okay, so what's our next step after we have all our colors mixed?
Get your coasters out and
Okay.
have them set up on something that keep them raised up, just like you would do with your acrylic paints.
Okay. I'm gonna move these out of the way. Hey, you stick. Get out of my way. Put that there. Give this a good stir. One more good stir.
I think I'm a fairly good cook personally. I am a country cook. I make things in large quantities.
Oh yes, I do too. It's hard. It was hard for me when I was single to cook for myself because I'm used to cooking for at least 4 people.
Yeah.
So,
we would have 4 people and their friends over and whoever else was over, and now it's shifting back down to like 3 or 2, and so it's like so I just freeze the meals.
I mean, the only thing that you have to watch out for is there's certain things that don't freeze well, like cornstarch. Anything you put cornstarch in is not going to freeze well. So use use arrowroot powder instead. It'll cause your thick, or a flour. Make a roux to thicken. So don't use cornstarch. Use flour or arrowroot powder, or tapioca starch works too. Will freeze okay. But like
anybody who hadn't had breakfast, I apologize.
I haven't had breakfast. I started eating a banana and it's sitting on the back counter right now.
Oh, that's funny. I was eyeballing a banana before I came out to the studio.
Well, I was like, okay, I can eat this while I'm getting ready. And then I forgot completely about it. So yeah. Okay. So we're set for.
We're gonna do puddle pours today.
Okay.
And I'm assuming you're familiar with a puddle pour.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Anybody who isn't, it's just a matter of making a pile of color and adding to the pile, and then we manipulate it after that.
Okay.
That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Yep. So what do we do first?
Okay, you got your coasters already on risers. She's using ceramic coasters, and I've got acrylic coasters. So a little bit of both.
Right.
Okay. Pick a color. You can start off with whatever color you want. And
do I want to put clear down first?
I'm sorry?
Do I want to put clear down first?
You could if you wanted to, but we're not going to on the first one.
Okay. So pick a color, any color. And how much do I want to pour down? How much do I want to pour down? Like
this is kind of like a dirty, like about that much.
Okay.
Okay.
How big are your coasters?
They're probably a tiny bit bigger than yours.
Okay.
Would it help if I zoom back out?
No, it helps me get an idea of
gauge and stuff.
We're doing about a 50-cent piece size.
Yeah.
Dollar size.
And then when you keep adding to resin, it'll keep pushing your colors out.
Okay.
And I'm just going to layer up just all 4 of my colors. You can repeat if you want to, or you can put a lot of each color and
Well,
just do it one round.
One round. See how this goes.
Okay. I think I'm going to do a little bit of white in the middle. Just because I feel like it.
She's got a hair.
Hey, you already got started. Got a hair.
Yeah, poor Scout. When I was running in and out of the garage this morning, getting all the resin stuff together, Scout wanted to jump up on me and give me love and everything, and I'm like, no, honey, you can't jump on me. I don't want dog hair on me right now.
Is that Michael's dog?
Yeah, that's the dog.
I had a horse named Scout.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got my puddles poured. It covers about 3/4 of the tile, as you can see here.
Yeah, and it kind of spreads, and it's kind of done the same thing with me as well. So hit it with your torch real quick just to get rid of any bubbles on the top.
Okay.
Or you can use a heat gun. You want to?
I'm going to use my heat gun. Like I said, I don't want to get my torch. Well, probably. Oh no, there it goes. That's like.
And since you have your heat gun out, we're going to do something.
Okay.
Let me get mine. There goes my earbud because I have to reach.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's okay. Fortunately, it's attached to the phone, so I always know where it's going to be. Okay, so I always start off my heat gun on the side to blow out anything that's on the inside of it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim it towards the middle and just kind of blow the white out a little bit. Just a little bit.
Purple out? Or should I put white in mine too?
Only if you want to. But I'm gonna focus mine towards the center. How about that?
Okay.
I'll just say it like that.
Well, let's say hello. Let's say hello to Keely at Random Rock Paints. There we go. And Jeff B has joined us as well. I'm going to put this a little dot of white in the middle.
Okay.
Wow, this is like really thin compared to what I'm used to. So my little dot is really actually kind of big. Okay, so I'm going to bring it down and then spread out and stop.
I focused it in the middle, or actually kind of heated up overall, and then focused it in the middle so it would just kind of soften the edges and fan it out a little bit. That's all I was looking for.
Okay, now what do I want to do?
All we're going to do is tilt it. See if we can cover all the edges.
Okie dokie then.
I know you know how to do that part.
Yeah, the resin is tilting resin is different than tilting acrylic because resin is much more thin. At least the mix that I use is much thicker, so it moves slower. So I got to be more patient.
And the interference, you're liable to get a nice little shimmer because we're doing it like this.
Well, the interference is actually quite amazing. And the other ones are a little bit metallic, I think. The green and the purple. So it's going to have all kinds of cool stuff going on.
You might get kind of like an opalescent quality to it.
Yep.
Now, for me, I'm not going quite completely to the corners. It doesn't matter on if you do that or not, because we could just hit it real quick with our finger.
Yeah, that's what I did.
I figured you probably had that by instinct. And resin will want to go where resin is. So even if it's thin on the corners while it sits there, it'll naturally even out while it's curing. Now, the only exception to this is if you're working on this until it is like starting to set up in your cup, then it may not flow as much.
Right.
So we're just doing a simple one just for pretty colors. Come on, get over to the edges. Okay. This one I wish you could see more in the light. Can't see the interference as much. And with white titanium, sometimes when you fan it out like that, you might get a few little cells.
Yeah, I'm getting some cells in here. I'm sorry, I'm like not working over the camera. Bad Tish.
They'll be wispy, but they'll be delicate cells. Because we didn't do heavy manipulation, we were just tilting.
Okay. So, I'm going to pick up some of this extra here. Should I get the sides? I am really bad at that. Not getting the sides. Now, do I hit this with any more heat?
Briefly with your torch, just to get rid of the bubbles.
Okay.
Because you don't want it to start flowing over the edges.
Right, because the heat will make it more liquid.
It'll thin out the resin and starts to move more.
Okay.
Unless you want it to move, then, go for it.
Okay, so we're going to leave that just like that. That's actually quite pretty.
It's very delicate, but the bolder colors you use, obviously the bolder the impact.
Right.
Okay.
And hang on a second.
Yes.
Yeah, spray a rag. Because it dried out on me. Okay.
All right. This time I'm going to make a little puddle of clear in there, and we're going to do a skin coat.
Okay, that sounds kind of creepy, but all right, we're going to go with it.
Or as Erica's been using the whole grease the pan thing, but basically put a thin layer of resin on the surface.
So it has some movement to it.
Yeah, but I'm just like barely putting it on there so that it's like hard to move it around.
Okay.
Or meaning push the clear around. And you can do this with a colored resin, doesn't matter. Like I've used leftover resin that's like dripped onto the pan and stuff.
Okay.
I got one of those baker racks that I use for my dust-free zone. And so I use giant cookie sheets, which I adore. And it makes it so much easier for doing the art. And then you have somewhere to put it after you're done instead of looking for a place that's like, okay, where can I stack this?
Yeah. Well, I have my drying rack out I have two drying racks. I have one that's a resin one and one that is a acrylic one. And the reason why I have the resin one separate is because I put the things that hold the trays that I made, I have them spaced apart. So if I need to tent it, that particular shelf, I can just tent it. I don't have to worry about, dropping the plastic. So if I just have one shelf that I'm working on, that needs to be dust free, I have like these little things that I built out of foam core.
Perfect.
Okay.
Parchment paper is great for things to put on the bottom too, because one, you can change it out if it gets really nasty too. The resin just peels off of it like no problem.
I've got this thick plastic. I think it's a 4 mil plastic, maybe even thicker, that I got from my old job. Because the vinyl that we would get to do upholstery would come in this thick plastic. So I kind of stuck it to, I used some positionable adhesive, spray adhesive, and stuck it to the board. So that way, when, if it gets a rip in it or something like that, I can just peel it off and use something else. So, okay, I've got clear resin on this coaster. What's next?
All right, do puddle pour with some bold colors to begin with.
Okay.
And I'm putting on there a lot more, so we're going to have a little bit more drip off. So just heads up.
Okay.
And then I ended it with So I've got a purple and a blue, and then I ended it with the interference.
Okay. What about, and then, so what about the white?
The white I'm going to do last.
Okay.
But I'm going to break it up, and I'm going to do just a little pass over the top, like a line, an arc with the white.
Okay.
It's going to be easy to tilt this to get this to cover, and then we're going to blow the white in a direction, so you'll get possibility of lacing.
Okay.
And all my purple disappeared. It's underneath. Great.
Okay.
It's
So
in there, I promise.
So do we want to heat this first, or do we want to just tilt it?
Torch it real quick just to get rid of any bubbles. It's always a good practice whenever you're adding resin to give it a quickie torch. Or heat gun. Either one will work fine.
It was right there.
No, it's, I forget. It's like, I know what I mean, but you forget when you're talking to other people. It's like, oh, they might take you literally. It's like, okay.
So we're just going to like roll it around kind of thing to get it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to cover the edges. You can even just use your fingers to get it up to the edges for now. Because once we start using the heat gun, it'll definitely move. All right, you ready? You're not. No, you're not ready.
Almost. Almost.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to heat this all over real quick. And then I'm going to aim my heat gun like at this white line. And I'm trying to push the white this direction. So it feathers out over the color. So I'll show.
Show me, and then I'll try and do mine.
Okay. Do you want me to do the hand teaching first? I can show you. So
Yes,
quickie overall heat, and then I aim a heat gun and then kind of angle it, and so I'm pushing the white over the color.
Okay.
Lasso.
Like so, she says.
Lasso.
Yeah. Okay, and let's see if I don't turn this into a hot mess. Oh wait, that's really nice.
If you need to add a little bit more white to move it, then go right ahead because sometimes it'll drip off.
It doesn't want to go. It doesn't want to go.
Add a little bit more white to that zone. I'm going to add a little bit more right to this area here and move it.
We got some of it to move.
There you go.
All right. I kind of like that. It kind of looks like a whale tail.
And this makes that lacing, that really delicate light color, but will allow color to come through it.
Yeah, see, mine didn't do any of that.
Well,
Mine just-
let's do it
So-
again.
Well, I'm gonna what?
What? You're stuttering. Why are you stuttering?
Because I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay. Well, then let's do it again.
I'm gonna try it on a different one.
Okay.
Because I kind of like this one the way it looks right now.
Okay. That's what I meant. Like, let's start over. Let's do another one. How about that?
Okay, I'm gonna spray my fingers here.
Now, you don't always have to do a skin coat on it. You can just start off with the colors. Especially with coasters. Because it's such a small area.
Right.
Oh, dear. We got a fly in the studio.
Uh-oh.
You know it's going to find my resin.
I had one in the...
Darn, missed it. All right.
So when I'm blowing this with the heat gun, do I want to have it on high heat or low heat or low fan?
I would put it on high fan, and I have mine always set at high heat and high fan. Some people change it out all the time, but I just pull the heat gun away from the piece when I wanted to do less blowing.
Okay.
So I vary my hand versus varying the device.
Okay, so let's try this again. Let's try the purple first.
And a puddle pour is just a good way of getting started with something. It's like getting colors down to manipulate. And a lot of times when you're tilting it, the colors that you have in layers will have a tendency to create a nice blend. And so that's the other thing that's really cool about a puddle pour. Whereas sometimes you know how a dirty pour, you'll have lines
Right.
of colors. And then sometimes you'll have blends. Okay. Now, dealing with coasters, you get dirty fingers a lot.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But you're probably more familiar with that than I am. Especially lately, you've been like the coaster queen.
Yes. I just been testing a lot of different products, a lot of different things, and I find that if I test on coasters, if I don't like it or it doesn't turn out, I'm not wasting a canvas. You know,
Yeah, you're not out a lot.
But sometimes if there's texture, then I mean, I have probably 20 canvases right now that are like cracked and whatever and don't look good at all. And so I'm going to do another pour on it or do something and turn it into a mixed media art, add some more dimensions and some layers and some, you know, cogs and gears and do the whole steampunk thing with it. And I wanted to, okay.
So on your coaster right now, do you have white on the outside edges or that just...
That's the coaster.
Okay.
So what I was going to do is just try and I'm more practicing getting that white to blow, like you said, like we're
Okay, then don't add your white now. Go
okay.
ahead and spread your colors out. So if you need to add more color to it in order to coat your coaster, now's the time to do it.
Okay.
And then we'll add the white after it's been moved, and then you can blow it and not lose your white. Maybe your white was getting too thin.
Because I put clear down. So I have that clear coaxing some of this color around. Sorry, I keep doing that. I gotta get better at that.
You'll figure it out. I'm going to be all thumbs next week. You're going to be enjoying me.
We all learn. Okay, so do I want to add more color if it's not quite?
Do you want any more? Do you tend to go more pastel, or do you like bold colors?
I like more bold colors.
Add more color.
Okay. Let me get this side. Bring it down.
I've been playing with the pastels because I go towards more of the bold, and I find that if you play the other direction for a while that then you're comfortable with, you build up your skills and then go back to your bold colors and you can apply those skills, because you have a tendency to be more careful when you're not in your comfort zone.
Right.
There you go.
I like this interference copper though. That's really pretty.
It is pretty. Darn it, I have to get that one. If I don't have enough colors.
I know I don't have very many.
I was commenting on a video about that. There's this woman was like, all the colors, how do you keep from not getting all the colors? I was like, I was just feeling better when I visited Erica this last time, because they had the shop in their place and I'm in the shop, and she's like, oh yeah, something about 800 colors kind of thing. And it's like, okay, I feel better. I don't have all of them. Good. I'm not that bad.
Yeah. Okay, so now is when I want to.
Yeah, let's make. We're just gonna make a. Let's see. You got lines there, so I'll do it at the end of my lines, and I'm just gonna make one puddle right on the end. Let's see. And it's a healthy puddle.
So you did the same. I'm trying to see. Sorry.
Yeah, I did a healthy puddle of white.
At the like the side of your lines.
Mm-hmm.
So your lines go.
Yeah, towards the edge.
Okay. So I want to put my white like right here, maybe.
Yeah. Well, just make a blob, like like a size of a dollar coin.
Okay. So I'm gonna turn this way, because I know me.
Stay.
Okay. Blob.
Keep going.
Blob.
Add more. Add more. It's spreading.
More?
Yeah. There you go.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Heat gun.
Heat gun. High heat.
Warm up the overall piece.
Okay.
And then focus on that white.
So are you going like right in the center of that white?
Yep.
Okay. Here we go. I think that's high. Yeah, that's high.
Yeah. Heat the overall.
You can tell I don't use my heat gun very often.
There you go. And then just focus on it like it's a bad spot. There you go. And you're making waves.
Sweet.
So we're just worrying on techniques. I mean, if you don't want a little big old bullseye on them, on your piece, you can start finessing from here. But that's how you create the lacing and the very light, delicate stuff.
Well, I couldn't do that before. It never worked. And when it did work, I didn't know why it worked. That's really pretty. So I'm leaving that one.
Ta-da!
I'm leaving that one.
All right, so the last one, you do what you want to do on it. But
I might revisit this one because it's sitting there and not very happy with me. So I'm going to revisit this one.
Okay.
And then we'll do a fresh, clean one. And now I'm all full of resin again. So, dude.
I always think it's funny when people are asking me, it's like, how much resin did you mix up for that mold or for that painting and all that? And it's like, I mix up enough resin for about 5 projects at one time.
Well, if you're going to dirty a cup, then you might as well do, what you need to do,
Yeah, I'm like doing 2 or 3 trays and molds and, this and that kind of thing. It's like, I think this much,
I feel you. It's like, well, how much paint did you use? It's like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going to take this and we're going to go over the top of this. Well, I gibbered when I should have jabbered.
Jibber jabber.
And we're going to go this, like that.
So besides people, what do you miss the most right now with all this stay indoors kind of stuff going on?
You know, I don't miss a lot of stuff because I don't go out very much.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I miss going to the movies.
You know, I don't go to movies very often. I live a very hermit life.
Uh-huh.
So
well, we went to the movies like maybe once a month kind of thing. And
right.
We go to Alamo Draft House and they have the dine-in movies. You know,
Right.
you have your meal and watch the movies and such. Yeah.
Right. Like a dinner theater, only it's a movie.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay.
I think we're both concentrating because we both shut up.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, I can do this.
I got to get my headphones working again because my earbuds keep popping out now. It's a problem, especially with gooey fingers.
Okay. I feel you. I have my headphones. I can't use earbuds. I had too many ear infections when I was a kid, and anything inside my ear annoys me.
Oh, I can see that.
So
I was trying to clean off my hands so I can stick my earbud back in. I think I just got weird shaped ears. They don't like to stay in. Here you go. You got it.
There we go. I like that better.
Ta-da.
Ta-da! Now, not to screw it up when I move it. There we go. Okay. Oh, Pia's here. Hello, Pia. Good to see you.
Hello. I always jump into your chat right in the very beginning and type in howdy howdy, and then I abandoned the chat because because got to get ready to do the art and stuff. And so it's like, I hope nobody in chat goes like, she won't answer my questions. It's like, no, I can't.
I haven't seen. Keely says you two make it look so easy. Honey, I don't know what I'm doing.
That's because we made a bazillion mistakes first, and now it looks easy.
Well, and like I said, I've had people, give me their take on it, and Lisa tried for like, I don't even know, months to get me to do resin, and I just couldn't get it. It wasn't clicking, and now it's, maybe it's just because I'm oversaturated, and I haven't. Other than watching your videos and Erica's videos, I haven't really watched any videos on resin in probably a month.
Well, that's probably good. So you're not like already pre-filled.
Like, overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I mean, and you always have the cool music on yours, and that's why I like yours. You had the music that I like.
That music is either hit or miss. People either like it or not so much. I'm like,
well, there's that I was like, oh, I don't really care for the music, so I'll mute it. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, put on your own music and just mute.
But I love watching because you do the big bright colors and just seeing how you do things.
Well, thanks.
I enjoy it, and I'm like, when you offered to do this, I'm like, she read my prayers. Because I'm like, I need to do this. need to get a handle on this because I have resin. I coat all my coasters in resin, and I do. I did have one project when I was working with Elisa that did turn out that I really do like, but I just I have an idea for a project, and I want to do it, but I don't want to. I don't want to waste the chameleon colors because those things I said, they're
crazy.
absolutely beautiful. But if you keep making mistakes because you don't have your basics down,
Yep.
that has to be problematic.
Yep.
So.
Enough to do another one, so I figured I'd throw one on there real quick.
I'm going to do just these 4. And then I've got some molds that I'll kind of pour into. Okay. I can do this.
You got this.
I got this. Thanks, Mike.
I gave my son a mug for going off to college, one of those little tumbler things, and had it on there, physicist in training on one side. I had it, the message on there, and on the other side it has, you got this.
That's wicked smart stuff. I'm not wicked smart like that.
I have my moments. That's all.
Well, here's my thinking. I can build stuff. I can do things. I can bake you bread completely from scratch, no yeast, no nothing, because I know how to make sourdough and I know how to do the things. But when it comes to explaining the science behind it,
it does stuff when you do this. Yeah, that's how.
I know saponification, and I know some of the other things, and I know Maillard reaction and things like that. But when it comes to like actual science,
not so much.
I try to sound smart. I do know what I'm doing. It's just I don't know how to explain why what happens when it happens.
And to explain to somebody when to stop, how do you know when to stop? It's like, oh gosh, that would be the $1 million question. How do you know when to stop?
Yeah.
You got it. That looks gorgeous.
Yay, me! Kind of looks like scales.
That's pretty.
That turned out really pretty.
You want to end on a good note? Because I think you ought to. Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah. So I will come up with my next basic technique for, I guess, 2 weeks from now.
Okay. Yes, 2 weeks from now. And then next week, we will be doing a basic. We'll mix up some paints. And
I got to get scale.
The scale. And I'm going to be sending you a little care package as well. So I have to put the stuff together. I started a pile for you. You've got your own little bin.
Oh, nice.
To her, and we'll just do this, and and some of it is sort of basic, but it is what it is. But
I think it's good to start off with the basics. You break it down, and then you can combine it with anything that you like already. So like I could start here and then continue and add other stuff to it. So this is a basic.
Right. So we can, because this is really cool. These turned out really cool.
This is your chocolate cake. Here's your basic, right?
Yeah. This is your basic chocolate cake right here. This is your base.
Yep.
So then, and that's what I wanted. Just one step, one thing, learn it, master it, move on to the next. Because I will actually practice this, and play with this a little bit. Because I really do. This is kind of fading away. This is getting a little bit more purple, and I don't know why.
Sometimes colors do disappear, just like in acrylics. It's like, I know I put a ton of purple on there. Where the heck did it go?
Right.
And it just goes down into the layer. So you could blow down in there and it pushes that purple back up. But in this case, we were just working with the wispies of the white. So that's how you get
one of the things that I wanted to get but couldn't get,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm tilting this one, seeing if it'll see. It's kind of the white's coming back in, so
Yeah.
I wonder if it's just a little bit off kilter. There we go. Let's do it that way. Because I'm on a stove, so I know I'm level, but sometimes the board itself isn't level. Like there's a lump of paint underneath it or something.
Wait. You're doing resin on your stove?
Well, underneath my work surface, underneath this board is a stove.
Okay.
That's why when I bring up a close-up, you see a ceiling, a vent, because that's the heat, the vent for the stove.
Ah.
So that's why you see that. So,
well, let me bring you in for a close-up on these guys.
Yeah.
Speaking of close-ups.
Let's see. Hang on. Let me. That was me taking off a glove. So yeah, that is beautiful.
So you might get those dainty cells, but it's all part of the lacing stuff. But you'll get definitely the wispies.
Yeah, and I want to let these set up and see how they, how it happens, what reactions happen, and learn from it. And I think that's maybe why some of this is a little bit easier for me right now, is because maybe I've cataloged all the mistakes, processed it, known what I did wrong in comparison to other people that I've watched, and that kind of thing. So, I mean, I'm usually one of those people that can pick up something and run with it and be okay at it, except for drawing. I can't draw a stick figure. So
there's definitely a learning curve with both acrylic pouring and resin pouring. Definitely. Right. You got to get used to the medium and how it works.
And how everything flows together and everything. So
and then you can push it. Yeah.
Yep. So I'm going to dip one of these. But I will let you guys go. So, because we have been live for a little over an hour now.
Oh my!
That's when you work with resin, and you're learning things, and it is a detailed thing. So, I appreciate everybody for hanging out with us today. Thank you, Clara, for joining me. Oh, let me say hello.
Anytime.
Virginia popped in there. Let me say hello to her. We're working with resin today. And next week we'll be doing acrylic pouring with Clara, and starting from the beginning, starting from scratch. So thank you so much for joining us today. Remember, be kind to one another. Peace, love, and happiness.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for hanging out.
Let me find the button. Oh, there's the button.
Where's the button?